Hello everyone, welcome back to a bonus episode of Dragon Quest VI. Skyzo is not going to be here with us, because today we are going to be talking about a town I have been dreading since this cell piece started. I like to keep things fairly positive, but today is not going to be a positive episode. Because there is a lot of bad stuff that's going to be covered here. There may be some adult material, not swearing or anything, but just really dark story elements. And it's going to involve Millie. So let's get started. And as we go through, I'm going to talk about why I don't like this. I'm going to talk about why I think it doesn't work, and I'd be curious to hear what you thought. Let's get started. So, things begin innocently enough. A nice little town called Felonia. Our characters agree, although Ashlyn notes that there is something different. She is right. Alright, so far so good. And here is our first hint of just how dark Felonia is going to be. What do you say about that, Millie? Expect a lot of those ellipses from Millie. Poor thing. Also some flavor text just to show that Millie doesn't respond with ellipses to everything. There's some parts where there's some levity and she gets a word in edgewise. She's not on pins and needles the entire time. Now let's talk to this guy. That'd be this house here. And here's one of the Gandino gang. He is mean. Let's go down here. There is an old man that we are going to hear about from this lady. He is going to be a fairly important old man to this backstory. He's searching for a girl. He's guilty about something. Wonder what it could be. Well, he did something really bad. Whatever it was. There was a girl under his care that disappeared, and it seems the Gandino might know where the girl is. Yeah. They gave a girl to the king. They know exactly what they're implying. They know exactly what they are implying. Fortunately, King Benedict is the king now, but it was too late. She did not come back after this. And there it is. This old man sold a young girl into slavery. The kind of slavery that involves beautiful women being given to kings as gifts. I think you can kind of work together what's gonna be talked about. Fortunately, the Gandino gang is not doing so well these days. The leader's bedridden, and while the daughter is right there, she doesn't feel like carrying on any criminal enterprises. Which is good. Good on her. More lurid details. Turns out they were dancing girls specifically. Fortunately, the new king isn't into that. And here's another thing about this girl. She had a brother. He survived his encounter, but he was lost. When that girl was sold into slavery, the boy ran after her, and the old couple lost their son as well. Adopted son. And here's the boss right now. He doesn't want anyone talking to him, but too bad. Couldn't have said it better myself, Ashlyn. Now, I wonder if we can get some clues as to who that girl is. Mill. There is only one letter missing from that name. Yes, friends, it was Millie. She was sold into slavery. The game knows what they were implying. She is dressed like a dancer in her sprite work. Not that kind of dancer, but a more classy sort of dancer, but still a dancer nonetheless. That's right, folks. They are using the rape as drama approach. Now, Fiona de Quester, you might ask. Are you really saying that happened? You know what? I really don't know. I'm gonna show you all the most relevant flavor text, and maybe you can help me decide. I don't know how this guy is still employed. I mean, I would have guessed he was one of the smarter cretins, but here he is blabbing everything to us, so got me on that one, viewers. Now let's talk to King Benedict. Get some positivity in here. Doesn't matter how you answer this, but I'll be honest with them. More lurid details. Yes, his private pleasure chamber. The game knows exactly what it is implying. You can even see it in the sprite. See that? 2 pillows. Not just one like you see in a lot of other RPGs. Now let's go to the prison. More lurid details. Very lurid. Dancers that were judged to be too beautiful by someone lived the rest of their lives in here and died. Presumably, they either starved to death or just lost their will to live. That ties back into the bits and scraps thing from the castle's cook. And the ocarina. Just like the ocarina we saw Millie playing at the very start of the game and in Part 8. Just in case it needed to be spelled out even clearer. She may be glad she missed all the junk, but it's still there for us. And now, there is only one bit of hope. Did I say that Millie may have been raped? Did I say may? Well, it's not a for sure thing, and we're gonna see why here. This is the other villain in this tale, apart from the Gandino gang and apart from the lecherous old king. This woman, her wits have been scrambled. Ever since her husband left, she has been cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Let's see what she has to say. Who's in the dungeons? Who are these evil fiends? Well, think about it for a moment. Do you know who it could be? Yep. It was the dancer girls. Now, if we put that together with what the old woman in the prison said, we can ascertain that any dancing girls that the queen thought were too beautiful for her husband were locked up in the cells. So this is the timeline for Millie. she was sold into slavery by her old man. Those slavers sold her to the king to be his dancing girl / concubine, along with a whole host of others who died in servitude to the king. At some point, Millie landed up in jail, and we don't know whether the king did anything with her in his private pleasure chamber before, or if she got thrown in jail before that could happen to her. Regardless, the old man helped her escape, and he gave her an ocarina while he did, because she had a mysterious destiny and all that, and now this girl, our girl Millie, she wants to look for her brother while we're on this adventure. So, possible rape. Does the game ever follow up on this? And the answer may surprise you. It does not! You just walk outside the castle, and the game never, ever brings it up again! Like, what is wrong with it? Like, I get that it doesn't shy away from the dark stuff. Like, we got plenty of examples of that. Like, Ella in part 3, she was also sold into slavery when the mayor thought she poisoned the dog's food. But we got resolution to that. Johann, he manned up. It was part of his arc. He went out, rescued her, brought her home, and at some point, the mayor himself ran away. The story ended happily. And I'm not saying it needed to be happy, but we got resolution on it. We at least... And it wasn't a major character either. Like, we didn't have to go back to the town and see what was up with her. It could have just been an uncomfortable thing that stuck with you until the end, but they did something with it. Or there was... Yeah, we did the Turns Code episode, me and Skyzo. There was a guy that went out looking for a legendary sword, left his wife and child alone, and we didn't discover this with Skyzo, but he died. You can actually discover his corpse in a cave. It's tragic, but, you know, closure. We at least can stop thinking about it. And in the Mount Snower episode, the guy that was in a frozen village for 50 years, there was closure on that. Like, it was still a punch in the gut, but again, there was resolution to it. And it was a side character. Millie is a main character. And there are 2 times in the future where the game sort of brings up her backstory. Like, spoiler alert, she finds her brother. And they go through the whole, like, the brother's like, oh, I was traumatized. I was too weak to protect you. I felt really bad. I lost myself in the pursuit of power. And then Millie's just like, that's okay. I'm just glad I found you again. And then in the end credits, they reunite with the family and... but they don't go into any of the details. They don't say what happened to her. They don't say anything other than that at some point some bad guys took her away. Like here's the thing. If you just skipped this town entirely, and it is optional, if you skipped it entirely, the only thing you would get is that at some point, some bad men came and kidnapped her. And the old man was... like, he'd either gave her away or he didn't stop it from happening. So it could have been, if we didn't do what we just did here, where maybe he sold her into slavery, or maybe the gang came around and he just didn't try hard enough to protect her. But no, this here is very explicit in saying this underage girl was sold into slavery as a dancing girl to a lecherous king who had this... And there was nothing consensual here. And once you get done with all that, the world map music starts off again. Everyone is all happy again. Like, we're talking about mermaids. Ash is peppy as usual. And Millie is saying they should pay Madame Luca a visit. And it's all positive stuff, but there's no cutscene. There's no resolution. It is just this really, really awkward thing that exists in a vacuum. And the game more or less just expects you to forget about it. Like, I didn't, though. Like when I was first playing, I put this game down and just stopped playing it for like a day, trying to process everything that happened. And then when I started it up again, I kept it, like, it colored the rest of the journey, because I kept expecting there to be some follow-up on it. Like, you put something like that in a person's head, and you expect that there'd be a point to it, right? Like, they do a character arc, they'd say, well, usually, like, if they wanted to be PG about it, they'd just have a cutscene where Millie explains that, no, actually, she got thrown in the dungeon before the king could do anything to her. And then by pure luck, the old man helped her out before she spent too much time there. That's how the manga did it. And I think that's how the audio CD drama did it. Or, if you really wanted to be gutsy about this, you'd say, actually, this awful thing did happen to her. Or at least say that as bluntly as you're allowed to in a kid's game. And then say, here is how it affected her. Here is how she evolved. There is none of that. And in fact, like, if you put Millie in your party and you talk to all sorts of ruffians and drunkards and ne'er-do-wells and everything that should be some kind of trigger, everything that should remind her of this, she doesn't have anything extraordinary to say. It's just very basic, ugh, that guy's so gross. Or, what a silly guy. Man, he sure loves his drinking, isn't he? Laugh track, or she'll joke direct. She's like, lucky you, Rex. You got 2 cute girls in your party now. What do you think about that? It doesn't inform her character at all. It is just this cheap, disjointed thing that exists in this uncomfortable bubble. Like, the game brings it up in an optional place and then sweeps it under the rug before it can do anything else with it. I hate this plot point. I really hate it. I hate saying it because I love this game, but I cannot accept this. Like, not if they're gonna use it that cheaply. So, anyways, that's my thoughts on that. Sorry if this was a more unpleasant episode than normal. So, tell me what you think, and hey, if you disagree with me, or if you have some compunctions as to whether or not it's okay for this sort of device to be used in a story like this, feel free to tell me. I won't get mad. I appreciate the comments. And I don't know, have a nice day and God bless you, everyone.